Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Wukakwadash, and double honors to the apostles of GMS and the bishops, the elders, and all the sincere brethren that are laboring the truth across the world, and also to all the sincere brethren and sisters that are listening to the truth. And I pray this may be another edifying lesson to the flocks and whoever the Most High want to this message and let it be heard. And before I begin the lesson, I will introduce the name of the Father, which is Yahweh, and the names mean He exists. And the name of the Son is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, which means the Redeemer or the Deliverer. And He's only coming to redeem His people, which is the nation of Israel. And in today's age, you would identify the Israelite as the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, which scattered on all four corners of the world and looks like the other nations, and also practice the custom of the other nations. With that, that'll be it for the introductions. However, the title of the lesson for today is basically it's when I wake up this morning. I was scrolling to the because a lot of times the first thing I do in the morning, I just go on after I'm done praying, I just go on Google, see what's article, what videos, or go on YouTube, what videos, what's going on. So it's basically the people are restless, which is pretty much the theme for the past few weeks, past few months, basically. The beginning of sorrows, all sort of chaos, stuff like that. So the people are restless. So the first article I saw was basically it's from CBS News, and it says, let me just show it. Too bright. Give me 1 second. That might be too dark now. I hope people can see it. It says protesters in Spain shoot water guns at tourists in demonstrations against mass tourism and housing costs. That's too dark. I can't see. So protesters are basically shoots water gun at tourism. That's basically what's going on in Spain right now. And let me read what the article says. Residents in Spain and several other popular destinations in Europe protested against mass tourism Sunday, saying a flood of summer visitors is driving up housing costs in their cities and pushing out locals. So basically, people are complaining because they say tourism is making their life horrible. It's driving the cost of living high. So basically, all those areas that have tourism, basically, whenever there's tourists that came around, it brings everything high, which making life impossible for them, especially in those days, man. The cost of living is very high, so they can't handle it anymore, man. And not only is making the cost of living going high, but the tourism is also pushing them out from where they're living. Because when business is booming, what they do is they just tell the residents that live there, hey, you guys gotta move out, or they probably pay them a couple $1,000s, who knows, and so they can move, make it like a tourist spot. Some of the protesters in Barcelona and on the Spanish island of Mallorca, however you pronounce it, spray tourists with water guns. And when I was at the plantation this morning, they were showing on TV. They really have basically a group of people protesting with water guns and shooting it, spraying at the people, which is basically, once again, all proud of the people, man. The people basically are tired, man. They tired of all angle. They tired of this system. It's not something that's just happening in Babylon the Great. It's happening at a worldwide, basically. And all those people that's protesting happen to be in like a westernized countries that basically Edomite countries that are known to oppressing Jigs. Now the Most High is basically first and foremost turning on the curses on the heathens. Let me get that. Oh well, the first one I was gonna get is when you talk about the cost of living. I'm like basically when you find that in the book of Haggai 1:6. Let me get that real quick. Haggai 1:6. It says, "Ye have sown much and bring in little." So basically, people have been planting so much, but they in return they make a little. You can't say basically people been working their ass off. When you think the more you work, you probably think, oh man, you're gonna have like a lot of money. Nope, your pocket. The more you work, the less you make, because tax gonna take a huge chunk out of it, man. Then you have to feed your family, you have to pay your bills, all those stuff, man. That's what's happening to those people, man. Ye have not, but ye have not enough. So basically, we don't have enough. All those hard work you been making, man. You been a lot of jakes been working 60 to 70 hours a week. I've done that once before, man. I work just to save enough money to buy cars or pay some bills, man. Yeah, cause especially during around the holiday season, man, you work cause some jobs, cause you know I remember when I used to work in warehouse UPS on the holiday season they make you work double. Cause the normal hours was like 4 hours, but during holiday season they make it 8 hours, and that's 8 hours all 7 days, which is very brutal. You might be like think like man that's 8 hours that's nothing. 8 hours we do that on a regular job, but when you're moving like heavy packages at an alarming rate, it's like you don't stop at all. It's just like non-stop action till the last bell ring. So after a while, man, you get people middle of the shift just snap. People get injured. People literally walk out because they're so stressful. They don't give people proper break, man. So, but ye are not filled with but ye have not in and bringing little. You eat, but you have not enough. So basically, you're gonna be eating, but you're not gonna be satisfied. You drink, but you're not filled with drink. So it doesn't matter how much you drink, you're still gonna be thirsty because you don't have enough to drink. Basically, man, you clothe you, but there is no warm. Basically, you put your clothes on, but you can't keep warm because basically the clothes that you get basically worn out, or you don't have the proper gear basically. And he that earn wages to put into a bag full of holes basically. And basically what that means is like people that work, it's like they work for nothing. No matter how much money you collect, you can work 60, because the average basically everybody in Babylon, a full-time job is basically clocking 40 hours a week. But the reality is things time has been so hard, you can't live on 40 hours a week. So you can do 140 hour one job, you still do another 30 hours in another job. So that's like 70 hours. Or sometimes you do 80 hours a week basically. It's still not enough. Cause let's just now you bring in $3,000. Tax out of 3,000 or $4,000 would take around 40% out of it. So if you make $3,000, technically you lost $1,000 in tax. How do I know that? I've been there before. And then after that, you have to pay your bills. Your house bill, if you live in New England, depending where you live, it could be $2,500. That's another chunk. Now you have to wait for the next pay period, which is you get paid twice a month. So you have to wait for that next paycheck. So that means you can whatever left you have, you probably have like another couple $100. Then you have to make sure your car insurance, your water bill. You better hope those things don't line at once, cause that'll mess you up right there, man. So basically, that's what that scripture said. You have that's when the scripture said, "He that earn wages to put in the bag with holes." Basically, no matter how much money you make, you can't keep it. It's all gone because you have to pay bills and all sort of stuff. All this come out of nowhere. Mainly bills every day, man. Your children's taxes, all those things cut down your paychecks, man. So it's like you're putting money in a bag full of holes. What happens when you put your money in a bag full of holes? You lose it. That's basically what it is. And it's not like a one-time thing. Basically, it's all year long. Let me go back to the article I was reading. And it says some of the protesters in Barcelona and on the Spanish island of Mallorca sprayed tourists with water guns. And the protests were part of the first coordinated effort by activists concerned with the ills of over-tourism across southern Europe's top destinations. So basically, the people are feding up because they're tired of those tourism. You know, at one point, tourism was basically the way of life. Everybody loved going to other countries, but now those people that used to love seeing people go to their countries because they get to sell the business. Now they don't want that anymore because it was like, look, man, you guys are making our life miserable. We don't want to see you anymore, man. We get tired of you. So basically, go back to your country. That's basically what they're saying in a nice way when they're spraying their guns. So the people are basically protesting. which is bring you back to the second Ezra 15. There's a brother that make a video say we are basically in second Ezra 15 verse 16, and that was basically to the spirit, to the spirit, and that brother's right. We are not in a good time right now, man. The entire world is mourning right now. What does Proverbs 29 verse 2 says? It says, when the righteous are under authority, the people rejoice. The righteous are not in the authority right now, so therefore the people are mourning. It said, and the next point of the verse said, but when the people, I said the people, when the wicked in authority, the people mourning. I don't want to butcher it. Let me see. Proverb 29 and 2. It said, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Basically, when the people are in the rulership, they're ruling the world, the people is mourning. Who's ruling the world right now is the Edomite, which is the so-called white man. They're the top nation on the planet. And it matter if you're like an Edomite that's from Babylon the Great, or Edomite that's from France, Russia, UK, Spain. They all the same devil. They all Edomite. It doesn't matter if they come from the current land where they call themselves Israeli. They are still Edomite devils. It's no different when you're looking at like us Jakes, like whether you like a Negroes, Latinos, or Native Americans. Like only young people that look at us, actually, those dumbass Babylonians look at us different also. They think like Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are completely different peoples. But I ain't worrying about them. I'm worrying about our people. Because our people think like we are all separate people. But in reality, we are the same people. Well, Esau the devil don't look at us. When he's brutalizing us, he doesn't be like, oh, these are Negroes, these are Latinos. We're going to go easy on the Latinos and we're just going to punish the Negroes. He punished all of us the same ways. He killed us the same way. He hurt us the same way. So it really doesn't even matter. So all those people, like I want to say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. The righteous are basically the Israelite man, and the wicked are basically the Edomites. So when we ruling, the earth's gonna rejoice. But since the wicked is ruling, the world is mourning. Everything is mourning. And he says while several thousand rally in Mallorca in the biggest gathering of the day, 100 more gather in other Spanish cities as well as in Venice, Italy, and Portugal, capital Lisbon. So it's not just in Spain; it's also in Italy and Portugal. So basically, all those nearby countries, man, they all having protesting, and it says coordinated effort by activists. So it's not just like a one thing. Random people wake up say we're gonna protest. It's like a coordinated protest, which means, and the thing is, it says each capital or Spain capital. It says Mallorca. I'm not familiar with the European countries, guys. I don't really pay attention to individual cities in Europe, but I know Venice. It says I don't know Venice. It says as well as in Venice, Italy. I think Venice might be Italy capital, and Portugal's capital Lisbon. So basically, those people basically link in, so they can have that coordinated protest. So we having protests in all four corners of the world. In Babylon the Great right now, we have protesting that's been going violent lately. I just watched a clip yesterday, like a protester that didn't want to move, and the car just run that person over, and I believe probably crushed that girl leg, and people were screaming. They was like, "Oh, that driver should be going to jail." How is he supposed to go to jail? He probably trying to go to work or home. He got fed up just running over, and very soon that's gonna happen like in a alarming rate. People just won't give a damn anymore. They're just gonna look. If you don't get out of my way, I'm just gonna mow you and go out of my business. Those protests gonna be extremely violent in the near future, man. And all those people that's working side by side say, "Oh, we are unity. We need to fight world peace." They're gonna realize real quick this was not about world peace. This was not about unity. This was not about we are one race, the human race. They're gonna realize real quick. They're gonna be Esau gonna stick for Esau, Jake's gonna stick for Jake's, and Moab gonna stick for Moab. Everybody gonna stick to their own people. That's what we entering right now, man. And let me see. Let me read a little bit more. The squirt guns are to bother the tourists a bit. Andrew Martinez said in Barcelona with a chuckle after spritzing a couple seated at an outdoor cafe. Basically, he said like the squirt gun is to make the to annoy the people. That's what it's saying. Okay, we shall see. And that's what he think at the very moment. The thing say he chuckled. Pretty soon, go what happen when people get annoyed too much, right? It's gonna turn violent. One guy might take a glass of wine or bottle, shatter in the face. What do you think that's gonna happen? If the tourists got tired of getting wet and they start attacking the people over there, what do you think that's gonna create? That's gonna create chaos. That's gonna create what I mentioned like a minute ago, like one race of people versus another race. Initially, those group of people, based on the picture I'm looking at, they all look like devils anyway. They all look like Edomites, but Jake's living around that area. They might be Jake that look like Edomite too, but anyway, it's gonna create that race war over there. Egypt versus Egypt when you read Isaiah 19 verse 2. Um, and Martinez, this is a fight to give Barcelona. So let me, what was I again? Barcelona has been handed to the tourists. This is the fight to give Barcelona back to its residents. So basically, the tourism has taken over Barcelona, and the locals are tired of it. They want the city back, or state, however they do it over there. Martinez, a 42 years old administrative assistant, is one of a growing number of residents who are convinced that tourism has gone too far in the city of 1.7 million people. So basically, Martinez is one of those local over there. He's like I'm guessing he works on. He's an administrative assistant, and he says like the growing tourism making life miserable. It has gone too far. It's affecting people daily life. People basically cannot function. Tourist is good for a certain time, as long as you have the tourism in a specific locations. But it looks like the tourism might be all over the place, which make the life of the locals miserable. You can only imagine that. Think about when they have the Olympic Games, man. Especially when you live like a Jakestown, or those of us that live like on next to the train track, next to the bus public system, and it's like that's constant traffic, man. It means like trains have to run 24/7. That means you really cannot sleep. When people are working 24/7, you really can't get a rest. We barely getting rest on our regular life. Now you have 24/7 activities, man. That's even worse. Barcelona hosted 15.5 million visitors last year. Damn, that's a lot of people. Last year, eager to see Antoni Gaudi, Las Sagrada Familia Basilica, and the Las Ramblas Promenade. I don't know what that is. Martinez says his rent has risen over 30%. So basically, rent has been up. It's not just so basically if we think rent is up in Babylon the Great, all the other nations have their rent has been up also, man. So his rent been up for 30%. I don't know. I'm not familiar with European money, so I can't really tell you. If I saw $2,000 Europe, I wouldn't know how you can convert that to American money. But I think European have their money is higher than our money here. So Martinez says his rent has risen over 30%. A small apartment in his neighborhood are rented to tourists for short-term stays. Okay, so because of that, they raised their money because the tourists came from all over the world, mainly American. Because of that, they jack up the price. It's kind of like you live in a neighborhood in Massachusetts. If you go back 10, 15 years ago, like an apartment will be like a. Because I remember when I was in high school, freshman, I remember, yeah, my cousin used to pay like $800 for an apartment. Kind of like exactly the same thing I'm living right now. And now you're looking at like a 15 years later, that same apartment, nothing has changed at all. Still shitty, still crappy. And it came from $800 to nearly basically $2,000. That's a huge jump in 15 years, and nothing changed. So I'm assuming maybe it's the same thing for them over there too. He said there is a knock-on effect of traditional stores being replaced by business catering to tourists, like souvenir shops, burgers joint, and bubble tea spots. So basically, um, they live the traditional local stores could be like the regular breakfast spot, cafe, or I know over there outside the U.S. they have those I forget what they call them. The places like people go and gather around. I remember when I was younger, I used to have those Spanish classes they used to give us, and they used to show you how. When I used to take a Spanish class, they used to show you how in Spain or it's basically any country outside the U.S. They have the cyber cafe where people just sit around with a computer. Or it's kind of like a lounge. Basically, people just chill. Um, basically like family gathering, friend gathering, stuff like that. So basically, those local stores has been pushed aside. I'm guessing they probably put supermarket that attract more tourists, so they can feel like they at home while they hurting their own populations. Um, by business catering to tourists like souvenir shops, burger jump, and bubble tea spots. Our lives as lifelong resident of Barcelona are coming to an end. He said we are being pushed out systematically. Yep, that's the whole point of the world. I mean, basically, initially, were, all this did not happen by accident or out of nowhere. All this way of life was designed, was specifically orchestrated. Basically, it didn't happen by coincidence. The system design, like they were, like you said, we were being pushed systematically. So all this basically gonna lead to the MOTB. They pushing the old way of living now. I can guarantee you that the city of Barcelona have 15-minute cities, part of those 50-minute Agenda 30, Agenda 2030, basically, where we making the world basically straight up 50-minute cities. Push out the locals, force them to bring themselves to the modern era by having the RFID chips, stuff like that, the C hip. That's what the world is leading basically. That's why the scripture says, 2 Corinthians 2 verse 11 say, be not ignorant of Satan devices. Around 5,000 people gathered in Palma, the capital of Mallorca, with some toting water guns as well and chanting everywhere you look. All you see are tourists. The tourists who were talking about what a blast, laugh it off. Yeah, and I was watching the videos, man. The people, the tourists, were literally standing there. Many eat them, and they just laughing it up, think it's funny. And like I said, 5-10 minutes ago, those protests that if you really pay attention, like each protest you see from different area of the world, the keyword they keep on using, peaceful protests. But eventually, those peaceful protests gonna turn violently. Like when you're looking at protests from Haiti, man, I've seen protests from Haiti, man. You see people take car tires, wrap people on those tires, put gasoline on, and burn them alive. You see machete, people taking stone or crack people's skull with it, or people just take guns or shoot people, blast the audience. You see people flying left and right. Because that's something happened. I remember 2 years ago. There's a so-called Christian Haitian church. I went there to a gang territory, and the pastor goal was to turn the gangs into to Christians, and the gang just like sprayed them. Like 200 plus people died, and the pastor left the scene. He was the first guy to run away, and watching his congregation just straight up die. When you read the book of Acts chapter 5, that was one of the things that happened. There's like always a Jake that's always rising, getting a huge following, calling it a false Hamashiach, and when they always die, and what happened when they die? The people that follow them scatter. So that's what happening. Or sometimes when in time of trouble, they ran off, and the people that follow them ending up losing their life. Those are the same wicked niggas that come back again. So those peaceful protests always ending up turning violent. Yeah, let me give me 1 second. That's a long article. So I'm just gonna read a couple more. I lost exactly what I was. Um, Everywhere you look, all you see the tourists. The tourists who were targeted by water blast laugh it off. The Balearic Island is a favorite for British and German sun seekers. Housing costs have skyrocketed as homes are diverted to the short-term rental market. So basically, they turn regular home into a short-term rental market because they know the tourists gonna come around. Probably spend like a month max. Basically, it's kind of like when you're in the U. What do we call that again? So basically, they're turning all those houses into Airbnb. That's basically all it is. Like, cause my cousin owned that down south. I think he has a couple Airbnb. Well, he actually told me, yo man, you need to invest in Airbnb, man. You know you live in upstate Boston, right? I'm gonna come and hook you up, so you just have to take care of it. I'm like, bro, we're not in those time of making money, cause in his head, we have to make it to the top. We have to be as successful like the white man, stuff like that. Him, my brothers, my sister, they all want to be part of the Babylonian lifestyle. Here it is, Esau's giving up the Babylonian lifestyle. When you check on YouTube online, you see Esau's complaining how life is hard. Guys, people that's been living in Babylon for 5, 6 generations, or they be living on the back of us Negroes, Latino, Native American, are saying like they have inheritance, like they say they're losing all their inheritance money. You got Jakes thinking about, oh yeah, we're making it to the top now. Jake is still clueless. So when they tell me stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you, man. We'll keep it up. That's what you can really tell Jake. So Jake's not gonna listen anyway. Oh, let's see. Um, Hundreds more marched in Granada in southern Spain and in the northern city of the San Sebastian, as well as the island of Ibiza. And yeah, that's a long article. That's it basically. Anyway, that's it for the lesson. I know I drop a lot of precepts and while I'm reading articles, so that's it for the article, man. I pray that was another edifying lesson to the flocks and whoever the most I want to this message and let it be heard. And with that, I'd like to say, Shalom.